guys, oh my god. So they had the alpha up for like 24 hours where you could get onto a level 100 character, right? So I got onto my Fire Mage, got on there, made a level 100, and I got to test the level 100 talents. So that's the footage you'll be seeing in the background, is me just messing around with all three of them. So I wanted to go over them with you and kind of show you what they do. So the first one, Kindling. I actually really like this for like single target fights. I really think Kindling is going to be an amazing, amazing ability for single target fights because it's a passive ability, okay? You don't have to do anything. Every time you crit with certain spells, the cooldown on your combustion comes down and down and down and down. Now, the nice thing about Kindling is as Fire Mages know that we scale really well with gear, right? As we get more and more crit, Kindling is going to get better and better and better and better and better, okay? So keep that in mind, is that at the beginning of the expansion, it might not be the greatest talent to choose, but as the expansion goes on, for single target fights, I think it's going to be an absolute go-to. It's a passive, like you get more combustions, and especially if you're getting good amount of crits, you can knock, 20, 30 seconds off that combustion cooldown if you're using the glyph, and that's massive. If I can get 4 or 5 combustions instead of 2 or 3, that's a lot more combustions, guys. That is so much more damage. That will be really, really good at endgame. I'm thinking like, second and third raid tiers. That's going to be incredible. Prismatic Crystal is your second one. Prismatic Crystal, I'm still kind of skeptical about. I like the idea of it, I really do, but I think it needs a longer uptime. When I was testing it with these training dummies, it was just interesting. It wasn't great, but it came down very, very quickly. So you really have to make sure that the stars are aligned and that you know exactly when you're going to use it and prep up everything. The only problem that I see with Prismatic Crystal is, again, early game when your crits are a little bit more sporadic. I don't know how great it's going to actually be, just because, again, you have so much more RNG, so keep that in mind. Now, real quickly, they did throw a passive talent in there that every time your fireball does not crit, you get a 5% chance to make it crit the next time, and that's a stacking buff. So that's actually really nice for lower level Fire Mages. What they did with that is that pretty much makes it so that lower level players can play Fire. So you're not going to see no one play Fire for the first 2 months of an expansion, and then everybody plays Fire at the end. That's a nice addition. So keep that in mind, that is really, really cool. I'm very pleased with Blizzard for that. They didn't just nerf other spells or buff other spells and make us really overpowered or really underpowered. They're giving us kind of a crit multiplier as we attack. So because we're so crit centric, I really love that change. I think it's going to be perfect. It's going to do exactly what they want to do. Kudos to Blizzard on that one. Now, again, with Prismatic Crystal, I think it needs a longer uptime, at least in the beginning. At the end, maybe they can drop it down a little bit, but you're not really gaining a whole lot. Now, the nice thing that they did do with it is as soon as you drop your Prismatic Crystal, you automatically target it, which is awesome, because that was the one thing I was worried about, was you were going to have to make a macro that, drop Prismatic Crystal, target Prismatic Crystal, and then start your attacks. So that was what I was really worried about. That's not the case anymore. They took care of that. It automatically targets, which is perfect, so you don't have to waste that extra time. Now, the third one is Meteor, and Meteor, I love it. I absolutely love it. It comes down, smashes everything in the face, splits the damage amongst targets, so that way, if it's one target, it does a lot of damage. If there's a bunch of targets, it does a little bit of damage, but then it's going to tick on the ground. And the animation is incredible. Honestly, this is my favorite talent. And the reason I'm going to tell you that is it's a flavor talent for me. I know it's probably not min-maxing. It's probably not going to be the best. It may be on certain fights, but the thing that I like about it is they simplified the Fire Mage even more. Okay, so Fire Mage right now, you've got your Living Bomb that you have to track, but you've got Fireball, Pyroblast, Scorch. Those are pretty much, and Inferno Blast to spread things. Those are pretty much your spells. Like, that's it. And I mean, you're spamming a lot of fireballs, especially at these lower levels. So having that cooldown, that extra thing to cast that's off cooldown, seeing how many more meteors you can get in, and seeing how many targets you can really bang out with that meteor, I think is going to add a nice little bit of flavor, especially in dungeons. I think it's going to be really, really good. trash packs, again, any boss fights that have quite a few ads that are going to come out, I think is going to be incredible. I really, really like what they did with Meteor. I think it's only going to get better as well because, let's be honest, it's Blizzard. They normally make things better. So, I'm very excited about these level 100 talents, guys. I hope you guys like them. Let me know what you think about in the comments about each of them, or if you have any ideas or suggestions, let me know in the comments because I'd love to read those. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.